Welcome back to Wildin, where we show you the odd individuals that inhabit our territory, the Great Southern Land. I'm your host, Kiana.
And I'm your humble explorer, Abdullah.
This week, Abdullah will venture upon two rather contrasting individuals. You best know these wild people as the Eshe and the Theatre Kid. Now the Eshe, tell us about our first wilder.
Well, Kiana, the Eshe is a rather intense individual. They're vigilant little buggers, they're quick on their feet, and they're very cunning. The one we were able to encounter had a sharp attitude. Let's just say we were lucky to escape with our shoes.
Interesting. Sounds like it was a very dangerous mission. Let's take a look.
Here's a prime example of an Eshe in their natural habitat, often travelling in packs. They are rarely spotted alone. Eshes tend to frequent their local train stations and shopping centres, maybe sometimes a park, if they're feeling a little cheeky. And here I am, in the field, somewhat ready to risk my life.
We are now in Eshe habitat, probably the most dangerous places you can ever be. If you ever encounter an Eshe, you never make a sound, because if they ever hear you...
What did you say about me?
I am very pleased to say that I'm on my way to mental recovery after my encounter with the Eshe. Remember, never make contact with these wild creatures. And if you're unsure on how to identify them, just remember to spot vapes, bum bags, TNs, Tommy Hilfiger, and Gucci.
What a lovely interaction.
Indeed, they're dangerous little units.
Very. Let's take a look at the wilding stats.
Well, for the Eshe, when you're looking for them, when you're spotting them, you spot Nike TNs and a vape. This one was an especially advanced Eshe, so they also had speed dealers and a scooter. The strengths of an Eshe consist of having crazy nerve, and will use small weapons such as a shank and can easily steal what they please. However, the Eshe has only two weaknesses, consisting of having completed only primary school and being below the height of 5 feet.
Now, Abdullah, how should we defend ourselves against these Eshes?
Well, unfortunately, if you do find yourself in a situation with an Eshe, you can almost admit defeat. That is, unless you run away as fast as you can away from them. My survival tip would be to avoid the situation altogether and stay away from train stations completely. Don't make eye contact with the predator and stay a good distance away from contact.
Great advice, Abdullah. Let's take a look at our next contestant, the Theatre Kid. These critters are stranger yet tame individuals. Abdullah was lucky enough to get a close look.
We are now in the prime location of the Theatre Kid. There goes one now. Come follow me.
I am now heading into rather safer grounds, on my way to meet a Theatre Kid. They're loud and they're obnoxious, but their main character complex may charm those who are unprepared.
Now, since the Theatre Kids are not an intense set of people, we just might be able to get close to one and possibly even speak to one. Here they are right now.
For some, these prideful creatures may be the bane of their existence, with their lack of social anxiety and excessive levels of confidence. Yet, they are much harder to identify than their distant cousins, the Eshe. Theatre Kids tend to dress in full black, and their only personality trait is their narcissism. So as always, take precaution when approaching.
Well, it's safe to say that those Theatre Kids are questionable creatures.
Yeah, let's take a look at the stats. For strengths, we have loud vocals. They're very, very loud. They are overconfident and they have absolutely no social anxiety. Weaknesses, on the other hand, consist of misunderstanding personal space, and they're very, very, very narcissistic.
So, Abs, how would we go about approaching a Theatre Kid?
Well, great question, Kiana, first off. Theatre Kids can become quite feral quite quickly, as they can become engrossed and consumed by a character. This is why you should always keep homework on you so you can deter them away from you, like it's their kryptonite, as well as keeping some distance yourself.
Amazing. Now we move to the fan favourite part of the show, Tweety Bird. Earlier today, we posted a tweet asking viewers for their recent close encounters, and some of the responses we received were shocking. Let's take a look.
At Wildin, today an Eshe approached me telling me that they were the wallet inspector. I told them I was broke and they took my shoes instead. I escaped unharmed. This was in Frankston. Hope they enjoy my size 5 maxes. She probably don't even fit them. At Wildin, Driving in Sydney inner west and a group of kids threw a vape at my car. Is it bad if I ran them over? If so, then I didn't.
Both quite unfortunate incidents. I know if it was me, I'd be hightailing it out of there pretty quickly. But I'd like to know your thoughts.
Well, in the first situation, unfortunately, because they had already encountered the predator, they really had no choice but to accept their fate, which they eventually did. My advice for next time would be to not to freeze and to get out of that area, the high-risk area, immediately and avoid interaction altogether. I will always feel safer when I'm carrying a pepper spray in my pocket for these kinds of situations. However, when in groups of 3 or more, I think it's just best to keep your distance, and I would recommend at least 25 meters.
Well, on to our other Twitter encounter. I'd say well done. You know, it's just terrifying in situations like these, but I think our tweeter kept their cool and they protected themselves as well as the wider community.
Yeah, definitely. It was a smart choice to stay anonymous too. Staying in their vehicle was also a good decision. Some people might think it's a bit over the top or call it an attack, but it's just self-defense. It's not exaggerated, and it's necessary. You know, that's the reality of it.
Definitely, it really is. And hey, that's one less Eshe in the streets now.
Hero.
Moving on to our other encounter.
Spotted a rogue theatre kid outside of its grounds today. Kid thought he was a bird and got way too close. How do I prevent them from invading my personal space?
You need to watch out for them too, right, Abdullah?
Of course, indeed. It can be easily avoided if you walk fast enough and steer clear of the subject. Perhaps you can possibly look busy, maybe pretend you're on a call.
Yep, so just don't give them any attention and look preoccupied.
Exactly.
Well, those were some interesting individuals we explored today. Next week, join us as we send Abdullah onto the streets of Melbourne to investigate the Fitzroy Garage Boy and the wannabe techno DJ.
I am looking forward to it.
Catch you next time
On Wildin.